Go. Fortnite. 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 All right, welcome back to another Puslowski Sports Hour video. Today, hopefully, this won't run to an hour. Uh, like some of the other videos have gone. I'm gonna try and make this one as a little bit shorter, so it's a little more easy to take in. Anyway, today I am doing um my own March Madness bracket prediction for March Madness that starts Thursday with the first four, and then Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and then on from there with the Sweet 16. College basketball, very interesting year. Uh, I did not watch a lot of it, I will admit. So I don't know a lot of these teams very well. Some of these teams I'm just hearing about uh, in the past week. So with in a year with COVID, with not a lot of fans to no fans. I mean, there were a few fans in the championship games and in the conference uh, tournaments, but little to no fans. College basketball wasn't that exciting to watch. Similar to some of the games of college football this previous year, it's just not the same atmosphere. There's no reason to really watch a Duke game. One, because a guy like Zion Williamson isn't playing, hence the reason they did not make the tournament. And two, well, that entire stadium is not, full. There's, the home field advantage of college basketball just isn't there. So that energy is just really isn't there, and it's not an incentive to watch it. As much as I love basketball, there's just it doesn't. College basketball didn't do as well of a job uh, making the games feel watchable and something you could do on a weeknight. One, because there's not a lot of big names. I mean, you ask the average person name one college basketball player right now. I don't think many of those people can even name one. If they name anyone, they might say Jalen Suggs, freshman from Gonzaga. But other than that, I don't think there's a lot of more names that come to mind. Um, I mean, for me, I can probably name maybe four or five, and that's just the biggest names, like Luca Garza from Iowa. Um, but other than that, I don't know a lot of college basketball players. I didn't. I mean, look at the one seeds. I didn't know Baylor was this amazing, or that Illinois had the year they had. Just because college basketball wasn't that intriguing to watch. Anyways, you know, let that be a reason to not necessarily take everything I say to heart today, and to think, oh yeah, this guy is completely right, and I should believe everything he says. Um, but I'm gonna give it my best shot at it. Obviously, it's not gonna be perfect because, well, that's impossible. It's a statistical anomaly for that to happen. But I think I'm gonna do pretty well. We'll just have to see, and maybe I'll get a few things right. That might help you out. Maybe you'll win a bracket pool in your family because of a few of the picks I make here today. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm not gonna waste much time on this first one. Gonzaga's gonna beat whoever it is. We'll talk about Gonzaga as we get later on in this tournament. Oklahoma and Missouri. It's an 8-9 matchup. I'm gonna trust the experts here. Not only is it 65-35, but um, Oklahoma just feels like the better team when you look at some of the key stats over here. Field goal percentage is roughly identical, but the turnover percentage is a big difference. And where it really comes into effect is defensively. They own the percentage on a lot of these right here. Um, and I would say Here they are. Ball handling ranks in the top 40. You need good guard play um, in the tournament. I'm just going to take Oklahoma here. These games usually are coin flips. There's rarely a lot of these games you're like, oh, yeah, this team's going to win. It's really hard to say otherwise. I think the only exception will be later on when we get to LSU versus the St. Bonaventure team or whatever. I know I pronounced that wrong, but don't care. So I'm going to take Oklahoma here in that matchup, and I did in my bracket and a lot of my other brackets. With ESPN, you could do 25 of them, so I basically have committed to that. It's not really going to matter because I don't think either of these teams will get past Gonzaga. And this pick, we have Creighton and UCSB. This is a potential upset right here for UCSB. And I'm saying that because Creighton is coming off a lot of bad momentum. They were just absolutely manhandled by Georgetown, a 12 seed, in their conference championship. So not a lot of momentum coming into here. UCSB, better record, coming off a conference championship. And they ranked top 40 in the nation for scoring and defense. Two huge things in NCAA tournament play. So I'm going to take UCSB here as a potential upset. Next, Virginia and Ohio. Virginia, yes, is the defending national championship from 2 years ago because of no tournament last year. Problem with Virginia here is they're a good team, but they had a positive COVID test and had to self-isolate 2 or 3 of their players, have to withdrawal from the ACC tournament, therefore giving Georgia Tech, the route to the conference championship, and then Georgia Tech ends up winning the ACC championship over Florida State because of this positive COVID test in Virginia. Virginia, they did make it through. They made it past the Tuesday deadline, which means they'll get to play, and that means they have at least 5 healthy players. Now, other than that, there's not much knowledge. They may not have very many more players than that, and I think there's some speculation that they've lost one of their best players here. COVID, 2.5 weeks not playing, and you're playing against a very hot Ohio team who has got, according to experts, the LaMelo Ball of the tournament, as Jay Billis said. Jason Preston, incredible story, was a walk-on at a few different schools, transferred to Ohio, and finally, I think in his junior or senior year right now, he's been tearing it apart, almost averaging a triple-double. And Ohio can score a lot of points, even against a Virginia defense. So I think that's another double-digit upset right here in this West bracket. Next, we have USC, and they have predicted that Wichita State will win in the first 4 game. I'm going to take USC just because, they own a lot of these categories over here. Certainly a better team. And when you rank top 20 in offensive rebounding, that's extra possessions, that's kickouts for easy 3-point opportunities, and that keeps your team with the ability to extend the lead because Wichita State can't get back in the game because, simply they can't rebound. So I'm going to take USC here in that game. Kansas and Eastern Washington. Kansas also had a positive COVID test and will have complications with that. They also were kicked out of their conference tournament because of those COVID tests. Nonetheless, Kansas is a better team than Virginia, and they don't have as tough as a team like Ohio. Eastern Washington is not like an Ohio team. The only thing they can really do is they can shoot free throws very well, but it's Bill Self in the tournament. He rarely ever is upset. They're going to win at least a game here and beat Eastern Washington. And the next one, we have Oregon and VCU. VCU made the tournament by winning their conference championship, but without Shaka Smart, they never really have been the same. Oregon's the better team here, and they rank top 20 in the nation in hitting threes. Threes are a huge part of any NCAA tournament in any year. You think of the best teams or the teams that make good, deep runs. It's the ones that, one, play really good defense, but two, can shoot the three ball and shoot the lights out. Oregon beats VCU right there. And then Iowa, don't even talk about it. They're going to beat Grand Canyon with Luka Garza, who's going to guard him. So that finishes the first part of the West region. We'll get into this. Michigan's going to win. We'll talk about them a little bit. This is the game I would say out of the coin flip games, those 8-9, 7-10 games, this is the game. Oh, it's an easy decision. I don't think there should be much of an argument here. LSU just was lost by a point to Alabama in the SEC championship, and they have 3 prolific scorers, also ranking top 15 in the nation in scoring. This team can score the lights out. You know, you have Cameron Thomas, who's a beast, Trendon Watford, and Javonte Smart. You have 3 guys that average over 15.5 points per game, and Cameron Thomas averages 23 a game. He can also shoot it deep as crap. I mean, in the Alabama SEC championship game, he knocked down some threes that were, that's 3 or 4 feet behind the NBA line. We're talking Steph Curry range. Take LSU here. Don't take St. Bonavent. Said that wrong again. Don't really care. Georgetown, the team that beat Creighton and won their conference championship to get their bid. They'll play Colorado here. Yes, they came off a blowout win against the 5 seed Creighton. They should have the ability to beat a 5 seed Colorado here. I don't know. And the reason I say that is, look at their record. They're 13-2. Maybe they just had their day. Maybe they just had their week winning their conference championship. It all changes. You travel. They haven't played in a week. I'm going to take the better team with the better record here, Colorado. I know a lot of the experts are picking Georgetown to continue their hot streak with an upset here. Play it safe. Take Colorado here. Mainly because I don't think either of these teams are going to get past this Florida State team right here. Florida State has a really good chance to make the Final Four. Certainly the Elite Eight, because I think they match up very well against a Michigan team. A Michigan team without Isaiah Livers, the senior, who's one of their best players and has the experience of playing in the Final Four 4 years ago, or 3 years ago. Florida State's a great team, so I don't think either Colorado or Georgetown can get past them. So I would take it safe, play it safe, take Colorado in that game. BYU and Michigan State. Head coach Tom Izzo is the reason I'm picking Michigan State here. BYU certainly is the better team because they have the higher seed, but I trust Tom Izzo to get his guys together and go out there and win not only the play-in game on Thursday night, but also this first-round game against BYU. Another thing, either of these picks, BYU or Michigan State, doesn't matter too much because I don't think either of those teams are going to get past Texas. Texas is just so much size. They can shoot very well. And they also have a good chance to make the Final Four. This region is stacked with very good teams. Alabama's amazing. Texas is really good. Florida State can win the championship. LSU is a really, really tough 8 seed with their ability to score. And Michigan is a 1 seed with Juwan Howard and a whole array of talent. And if they had Isaiah Livers, I think they could be a favorite to win the championship. Up there was Gonzaga and Baylor. And this 7-10 game, it's really a coin flip game, but it's another one of those games that I don't think it really matters who you pick here. I'm taking Maryland just because, well, the 7 seed isn't going to beat the 10 seed every single time. In fact, there's a stat here. I'll pull it up. There's a stat here. The last tournament 2 years ago, number 10 seed won 3 of the 4 meetings for the first time since 2010. So the 7 seed does win a lot of the games, but here's your upset right here. Maryland takes on Connecticut and wins. Connecticut is a good team, but they're not as good as they have been in years past with Shabazz Napier and Kimball Walker and talent like that. Don't waste your time. Take Alabama over Iona. Shout out to Rick Pitino getting a 5th team into the tournament. Unfortunately, to play one of the hottest teams in the country, Alabama. Baylor. Don't waste your time. In this game, it's similar to the Tom Izzo Michigan State BYU game. I'm going to take North Carolina here because of Roy Williams. And they have a lot of size. They're the number 1 team in the country when it comes to offensive rebounding. They're always really good at that. And like I said earlier, that means extra possessions. That means extra wide open 3-point shots. And it also means you can extend the lead and keep teams out of the game because they don't get the ball and get a chance to come back. So if they can get a lead and rely on that offensive rebounding, you're in a really good shape. It also gives you a chance to come back in games because with the offensive rebounding, extra possessions, open threes, you get high percentage shots, which is what you need when you're trying to make a comeback. Villanova and Winthrop, that's probably not how you pronounce it. Villanova, the 3rd team that had COVID problems, they were kicked out of their conference tournament and are without a lot of players. Not only that, they are without their best player. I'm forgetting his name, so let's find it. They are without Colin Gillespie, who scored 14 points a game. He had a season-ending knee injury. Unfortunate for him. I'm going to take 23-1 Winthrop here. One, because, it's another upset pick. Who doesn't like another upset pick? There's usually a lot of them in the first round. I'm going to take Winthrop to beat Villanova. Not only because, it's an upset pick, but they're 23-1. They've got to have some talent there to pull that off. Here, it feels like, we may have another 12-13 matchup like the Ohio and UCSB here, but I'm going to take Purdue. I don't think there's going to be that many double-digit upsets. And, in fact, we're about to see one in a second. Texas Tech made the Final Four 3 years ago. Really good team, really good head coach, good talent. They have a good chance to, I think, make definitely the Sweet 16, but maybe even the Elite 8. I'm going to take them to beat Utah State. Here's my pick, my biggest upset pick of the entire first round, and that is I'm going to take Colgate over Arkansas. And reason is, not only are they 14-1, but they are excellent at scoring the basketball, and they shoot the crap out of the three, ranking top 20 in the nation in shooting the three ball. Look at the points per possession. That's 1.167. That's amazing. They shoot 57%. And they also don't turn the ball over as much as Arkansas. Now, Arkansas' strength is scoring as well. They scored the most points in the SEC. I think it was 86 points per game, which is insane. But in a shootout, this could be in the mid-90s. I'm going to take the upset here and take Colgate to beat Arkansas. Colgate, of course, plays in what is basically a gym the size of a high school gym. But they're going to beat Arkansas here. Arkansas, a.k.a. Arkansas. Take Colgate as a big upset with that pick. And that's another one of those picks. I don't think either of those teams are going to beat Texas Tech because I think I have a lot of confidence in Texas Tech because of, one, their previous success and their coach. But they play really good defense, which is a big thing. Like I said earlier, it's the number one thing when you're looking for a good team in March Madness. One, really good defense, but also, importantly, three-point shooting. They play really good defense, so I think they'll beat either of those two teams, which we'll get to in a second. Here's another 7-10. I'm going to say 2 10 seeds win and 2 7 seeds win, so I'm taking Virginia Tech to beat Florida there. and that's another one of those games. It doesn't really matter. I don't think either of those teams are going to beat Ohio State on the next round. Ohio State, the Big Ten champion, who defeated Illinois. And here is Illinois, the number 1 seed. They're going to beat Drexel. Don't waste your time. Loyola, Chicago, and Georgia Tech. Now, everyone's here in the nation, and you can see it right there. It's going to cling. Oh, it's Loyola, Chicago. They made the Final Four. They're going to be really good. Take a deep breath. Everyone calm down. I get it. We all want to pick a Cinderella story again, but it ain't going to happen again. That's one of my bold takes of this entire video. It ain't going to happen again. Take Georgia Tech here. Trust me. I watched them in that ACC championship. They beat a Florida State team who I think has a really good chance to make the Final Four and certainly will make the Elite Eight by beating Michigan, who is without Isaiah Livers. This Georgia Tech team plays brilliant defense. They create lots of steals with players like Jordan Usher, who went to my high school, and their savvy point guard. I forgot the name. Hopefully it shows up. Don't want to disrespect him because he was absolutely balling in that ACC championship against Florida State. His name is not here. It's Moses Wright. That's the other guy, the little point guard. I forgot his name. I'm sorry to him. But I'm taking Georgia Tech here because I watched him in the ACC championship, and I'm like, yeah, that team's gonna win at least one game. And it doesn't matter who they play in that first round. So I'm gonna take them to beat Loyola Chicago. Everyone calm down. This is not the Cinderella story again. That was an unbelievable tournament run. Not only because, well, it's an 11 seed making the Final Four, but they had 2 games that were buzzer beaters. And their third that they played, they got to play, I believe, Kansas State to get into the Final Four. Kansas State was a 9 seed that season, and the only reason the 9 seed got there is because the 9 seed Kansas State had to play UMBC, and if you remember who UMBC is, it's the team that beat the number 1 seed Virginia. So the only reason Kansas State gets all the way there is because they didn't have to play Virginia, and that's the only reason Loyola Chicago gets into the Final Four. Great team nonetheless, but I don't think we're going to have the same Cinderella story again this year. Next, we're going to take Tennessee here. Great defense. I'm not seeing another double-digit upset, at least not here. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to beat Liberty because, well, 2 words, Cade Cunningham. Don't really have to say much more. I'm going to take Syracuse. This is that Tom Izzo effect. I'm going to take Syracuse because Jim Boeheim, also his son, Buddy Boeheim, plays like a beast, can score the ball really well. So I'm going to take them to beat San Diego State. West Virginia and Morehead State. This is a possible upset alert. Everyone take a deep breath. This is a possible upset alert. Morehead State could beat West Virginia. I think there's a good chance there. I don't think West Virginia's going to make a very deep run. But I'm going to play it safe like I did with Colorado and Georgetown and take West Virginia here to win that matchup, just in case they do end up making the Sweet 16. I don't think they'll beat Syracuse, but just in case they do, I'm going to take West Virginia just so I don't lose that extra point right there. I'm going to take Clemson because, well, look behind me. It's on the wall. And then I'm going to take Houston beat Cleveland State because, well, a 15 seed is not going to be a 2 seed this year. Not this year. They're too good of a team. Moving on. Here we are. Gonzaga and Oklahoma. Take Gonzaga. Don't waste your time. Ohio and UCSB. Ohio's got the better team, and they've got the better player. Now it's like, oh, it's 12-13. That means the 12's obviously better than the 13 seed here, and that's why it's 75-25 right here. But Ohio can score the basketball very well, and they have Jordan Preston, according to Jay Billis, the LaMelo Ball of the tournament. LaMelo Ball, of course, famous for never playing an NCAA tournament or for an NCAA team. So he's the NCAA version of LaMelo Ball, I guess. I don't know. Kansas and USC. I'm going to take the 6 seed USC to beat Kansas because of those COVID problems. They haven't gotten to play in 2 weeks. They were able to maybe get some rhythm against Eastern Washington, but USC has got more rhythm going, and I think they come out here and they beat Kansas. It's just an upset pick. There's not a lot of sure, you can go into some statistics here, but I feel with COVID, it's just going to be another one of those years where something like that mixes it up, and it can hurt a team a little more than you would think. Anyway, Oregon and Iowa, take Iowa. Don't waste your time. Michigan and LSU, possible upset alert. I'm not going to take the pick right here, though, because I would like to play it safe with Michigan because I still think Michigan is a very good team. But don't be surprised if LSU beats Michigan here because of their scoring ability, because of Cameron Bryant and the other two guys that score over 15.5 points per game. Don't be surprised if 8 seed LSU beats Michigan here because Michigan is without Isaiah Livers. I'm going to play it safe, though, and take Michigan. Colorado and Florida State. I think Florida State's the better team. I don't get why it's 58-20 or 58-42 here. Florida State can shoot the heck out of the 3 ball. And I watched them in that ACC championship as well. They are a very good team. Long starting lineup. And have a really good chance to make a deep run in this tournament, like I've said many times already. Texas and Michigan State, end of the road for Tom Izzo. Not enough talent. Texas is long. They shoot the ball well. They rebound the ball well. So I'm going to take Texas to beat Michigan State here. Alabama and Maryland, take Alabama. Don't waste your time. Let's keep on going here. The other round of 32. Baylor and North Carolina, take Baylor. Don't waste your time. Purdue and Winthrop, into the road for the Cinderella story. Winthrop, Purdue, bigger team. They shoot it better. Even though that stat right here disagrees with that. They shoot the 3 ball better than Winthrop. Take Purdue there. Texas Tech and Colgate. Here's where it gets a little bit dicey. This is my, again, bold pick of the entire tournament. I'm taking Colgate to win a second game and to beat Texas Tech because I don't think Texas Tech has as much talent as they have in years past. And I think Colgate will have the hot hand. They play 2 days later. There's not a big rest in between their game against Arkansas. Play with a lot of rhythm. A team like that can be dangerous. That was something we saw with Loyola Chicago 2-3 years ago. So I'm going to take Colgate as a big upset pick right there. Virginia Tech and Ohio State. Take Ohio State. Don't really waste your time. Ohio State's really talented. Here, Georgia Tech and Illinois. The end of the road for Georgia Tech. Illinois is just too good to lose that game. Tennessee and Oklahoma State. I'm going to take Oklahoma State because of, you guessed it, Cade Cunningham, just because I have that much trust in him and his ability. He is one of those players, he's the big name, but it's not like Zion. It's not the Zion effect as of 4 years ago. The reason that Duke team did not make the Final Four and did not win the national championship is because they were limited offensively. Cade Cunningham can do it all offensively. Zion couldn't shoot, so you force him to shoot, and you're in good shape. R.J. Barrett couldn't shoot. You force him to shoot, and you're in good shape. Cade Cunningham can shoot. In fact, he's made multiple game winners, including multiple from behind the three-point arc. I'm going to take Oklahoma State there to beat Tennessee because of Cade Cunningham. You can win big games when you have special players like that. This is my other double-digit seed to make the Sweet 16. I'm going to take Syracuse, not only because, I'm trying to make a big upset pick, and, March Madness can be crazy, but it's Syracuse. It's not like it's a trash 11 seed. It's not like it's Winthrop, some random team from some random place that you could never, ever guess where it is. Syracuse is a good team, good head coach in Jim Boeheim, and a great player in Buddy Boeheim. And West Virginia is not crazy talented. It's 46-54 for a reason because Syracuse is that good of a team. Clemson and Houston, I would take Clemson, but Houston is simply a better team. Clemson is not a good scoring team. They don't shoot the ball crazy well. Their strength is defense, and Houston's got too much talent that is better than Clemson to lose this game. They'll move on. And we'll get here into the Sweet 16. Gonzaga and Ohio. Take Gonzaga. Don't waste your time. Iowa and USC. Gonzaga and Iowa were two teams when I walked in, and Baylor. When I looked at the bracket, I didn't care who they were playing. I thought these teams are going to make at least the Elite Eight, and that is why I'm taking Iowa. They have Luka Garza, who can score like a beast in the paint, and he draws in defenders, which is open three-point shots for good shooters on that team. They rank top 20 in the nation in scoring. And, yeah, that loss versus Gonzaga looks terrible, but they're a really, really good team. They beat USC right there. Michigan and Florida State, this is my upset, the first number 1 seed to go down. I think it's Michigan because they are without Isaiah Livers. And Florida State is one of those teams that, like I have said 4 or 5 times already, can make a deep run in this tournament. And don't be surprised if they do make the Final Four. They have that much talent and can score the ball that well. Texas and Alabama. I'm going to take Alabama because they are top 10 in the nation in three-point shooting. They shoot the three-point ball on 40% of their shots. So 40% of their shots are threes. 41% of them are in the paint. That's 80% of their shots shooting, for them, highly efficient shots. Shooting threes that are open and in the paint, taking easy baskets at the rim. It's 56-44 for a reason because Alabama is a better team. And they're a conference champion for a reason. Baylor and Purdue, I'm going to take Baylor because of their they have 3 amazing scorers who can score the ball very well by the names of Jared Butler, Masio Teague, and Davion Mitchell. They shoot the 3-ball very well, and I think they're going to end up making the national championship game, which we'll get to in a second, because I think they are 1 or 2 in terms of ranking as a number 1 seed. They're that good of a team. Purdue is not a standout number 4 like a Florida State or like an Oklahoma State, who I think is going to beat Illinois. And another upset right here, the second number 1 seed to go down. They end up taking down Illinois because of, well, 2 words. Like I've said twice now, Cade Cunningham. He's just that good. Colgate, Ohio State, the Cinderella story. No, it comes to an end. Ohio State's a better team. Simply put, they're going to win that game. And they're going to, go into the Elite Eight and play against Baylor, a very good team. Syracuse and Houston. I'm going to take Houston, where this double-digit seeds Cinderella story comes to an end. I think they're just a better team. They're 24-3 for no odd reason. They're that good. Saying that, though, I think they're going to lose to, you guessed it, Cade Cunningham. It's 27-73, which surprises me. But that is because they're simply a better team. But maybe it's just Cade Cunningham's day. And they go out there and they win a big game. And that's what I would say. I don't think it's going to be a lot of chalk. There's potential for, not 1 and 2 seeds to make the Final Four. You can't just predict chalk. Some 4 seed always ends up making the Final Four, 4 or higher. This year I think it's Oklahoma State. And I know I've praised Florida State for the entire time, but Alabama is Florida State. but they shoot the three ball better, and they have more depth. And for that reason, I'm taking Alabama to beat Florida State and advance into the Final Four. Alabama en route to possibly win a national championship in both football and basketball in the same year. They are going to make their Final Four run. Baylor versus Ohio State. Baylor is too good of a team. It's 79-21. That is some crazy numbers right here. It's a huge discrepancy in ability. Ohio State is a 2 seed because they ended up beating Illinois in the Big Ten championship. And if they didn't do that, they're probably a 3 seed or even a 4 seed. So I think they're an overvalued 2 seed. And Baylor is just too good of a team. 3 prolific scorers of the basketball. They shoot the 3 ball very well. Take Baylor to win that game and beat Ohio State and make their Final Four bid. And Gonzaga and Iowa, I'm going to take Gonzaga here because, well, Gonzaga beat Iowa pretty handedly earlier this season. In fact, they beat them by, I think it was 10 points. I'll go, no, I can't pull it up. Actually, no, I can. I'll pull it up. It was like 10 or so points. Won by 11 points. They beat Iowa by 11 points earlier this year. So I'm going to take Gonzaga to do the same thing there. Mark Few makes his Final Four again. Maybe this year he'll win a national championship. Here we are in the Final Four, Gonzaga and Alabama. Alabama is a great team who shoots the 3 ball so well, but Gonzaga has too much talent for them. And I think they have the better head coach in Mark Few. They're going to make their bid into the national championship to play either Baylor or Oklahoma State. And you guessed it, I'm going to take the Baylor Bears, not Cade Cunningham. Sorry, 2 different words this time. I'm taking Baylor. Cade Cunningham's run comes to an end. 3 or 4 days in between. You're staying in one city. It's going to take the better team that ends up winning this tournament, not necessarily the better player. Unfortunate, but Cade Cunningham's road comes to an end, and Baylor makes it to the national championship game where they will play Gonzaga for the national championship. And it's 50-50 because these are the 2 best teams. Simple as that. Yes, I did not watch a lot of college basketball this year, but I've watched some tape. I've listened to a lot of the experts. I've a lot of the analysts. I've watched some highlights. All of the above. This is a big game between Gonzaga and Baylor because, well, they're the 2 best teams. Look at their stats over here. 61% field goal percentage, 57.5. They turn the ball over less than 15% of the time. They get an offensive rebound more than 25% of the time. Baylor is 36%, an insane number. Highest in points per possession, certainly on both categories. Over 1.1 points per possession. They shoot plenty of free throws. They play excellent defense. Don't allow a lot of offensive rebounds. That's a troubling number, though, for Baylor on their offensive rebounds. Which is said right here. They struggle at defensive rebounding, but they're both great shooting teams with tons of talent and plenty of people who can score the basketball. You could really call it a coin flip, exactly what it says here, 50-50. I'm going to take the coin flip in Mark Few and Gonzaga's way. Jalen Suggs and that Gonzaga team wins a national championship. Mark Few finally gets his national championship. He's been coaching up this Gonzaga team super well over the course of his career, and he finally gets a national championship for this team who seems to be in the bracket and make deep runs almost every single year. Taking Gonzaga to win the tournament. So I'll go ahead and go through here and just review the entire thing. Gonzaga wins, Oklahoma wins, UCSB wins, Ohio wins, USC wins, Kansas wins, Oregon, Iowa, Michigan wins, LSU wins, Colorado wins, beating Georgetown, Florida State wins, Michigan State wins their first 4 game on Thursday and then beats BYU, Texas wins, Maryland wins, and Alabama wins. Going up here, Houston beats Cleveland State. Clemson wins because, well, look behind me. West Virginia wins and beats Morehead State. Don't be surprised if there's an upset here where a 14 seed beats a 3 seed. Syracuse beats San Diego State as a double-digit upset. Cade Cunningham, Tennessee. Georgia Tech beats Loyola Chicago. Don't put them in any deeper than the round of 32. They're not beating Illinois. Illinois is too good of a team. We keep moving. Baylor, North Carolina because of Roy Williams. Winthrop because of losing their best player, Gillespie. Purdue, don't be surprised if North Texas pulls off an upset, by the way. Texas Tech beats Utah State. Colgate and the shootout beats Arkansas. Big win. Virginia Tech beats Florida, and Ohio State beats 15 seed Oral Roberts. So, yeah, 2 10s and 2 7s win. If you're looking for trends, 3 8s and 1 9 win. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different double-digit seeds that make the round of 32. We move on. Gonzaga wins and beats Oklahoma. Ohio beats UCSB. USC beats Kansas because of COVID. Iowa beats Oregon because better team. Michigan beats LSU. Don't be surprised if there's an upset here because of no Isaiah Livers. Florida State beats Colorado. They're the better team, better talent, shoot the 3-ball better. Texas beat Michigan State, more talent. Alabama beats Maryland, more talent, better team. Houston beats Clemson. Clemson can't score the basketball. Syracuse beats West Virginia. You got to have a double-digit seed that makes the Sweet 16. Oklahoma State, Cade Cunningham. Illinois wins against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech does not have enough depth. They only play about 6 or 7 guys. Ohio State beats Virginia Tech. Colgate, another double-digit seed. Let's just get a little bit crazy with it. And they make the Sweet 16. Purdue beats Winthrop. Baylor beats North Carolina. Gonzaga beats Ohio. Duh. Iowa wins. Baylor wins against Purdue. Ohio State beats Colgate, obviously. Florida State beats Michigan. Well, they're the better team. Michigan is without Isaiah Livers, like I have said. Alabama beats Texas. They shoot the 3-ball significantly well, and a very high percentage of their shots are 3-pointers. Houston beats Syracuse because, well, a double-digit seed is not going to make the Elite Eight. Cade Cunningham. Alabama beats Florida State because they're the better version of Florida State. Gonzaga beats Iowa because they did earlier this year. Baylor beats Ohio State. More scores. Better team. Ohio State is an overvalued 2 seed. Gonzaga beats Alabama. Better team. Alabama doesn't have a standout player like a Jalen Suggs who can take over a game. They have a collection of 8 or 9 guys who shoot the 3-ball very well. Baylor beats Oklahoma State because Cade Cunningham gets cold. And they have 3 guys who can score just about as much as Cade Cunningham. Gonzaga beats Baylor in the coin flip, and the final score is 77. Not 777, 77 to 73. That is my final prediction for the national championship and this March Madness bracket. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, share, and tell me how you did using some of my picks if you so choose to do so. Thank you. I will see you next time in another Pusilowski Sports Hour vid.